Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. Thank you so much for last month. I think we had the best month on our website in ages. You using it to buy your Eshop credit, you get 5% in cashback, and we get the tiniest of kickbacks from Nintendo. Happy days. And that helps us to hopefully add some games to our backlog. But this guy doesn't need to, or girl, because they won the free game last week. Congratulations, your comment was so delightfully normal I chose it. What games are we planning on adding to our backlogs this week? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Apologies for the amount of waffle you're about to hear. Now, let's find out. Kicking off then, we've got the Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered Collection, which is down 50%. There is a full review of this one on the channel if you're interested, and it's brilliant. Really enjoyed it. It was so nice to go back to these games. I know it's Aspyr and they have a slightly spotty track record with doing remasters and remakes, but I think they did a decent job here. There were a couple of iffy moments when they released patches that removed certain posters from certain locker walls, but other than that, the fact that you can switch on the fly between the old style and the new, as well as the adapted controls, which also received a patch to make them much more usable. It's actually a really good game. Well, 3 good games. And the funny thing as well is that they still hold up. Honestly, I like the style of the classic Tomb Raiders. Potentially at times more than a lot of the modern games that we have that try and be so fancy. These still manage to have a feeling of actual exploration. And I'm not entirely sure what that is. You know, like Tomb Raider 2, that starting sequence where there's the tiger and stuff. I remember it literally being terrifying as a child. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the age difference, you know. You went into everything with such a sense of awe and wonder. And now you've kind of seen it all. So yeah, I don't know, but they still managed to capture that feeling for me when I went back and played them. So at the moment at 50% off, definitely worth adding to your collection. Blasphemy II, I enjoyed it more than the first game, even though the first has a bit of an iconic status and the artwork in that one uses that pixel style that carries over a little more of the feeling of the game. I enjoy the actual world of this and the Metroidvania aspects. It still has great combat, lots of boss fights, but there's a lot more hidden and extra content to go for this time around. At 50% off as well, I think that's a really good price. Do you need to have played the first game? No, I don't think you need to, really. It gives you a little intro spiel, which makes no sense anyway, let's be honest. It's like, you know, like in the sense that you could play any Dark Souls game without really having to have played the first one, but you probably should. It's kind of like that. The sale for this goes on until October the 27th. Bendy and the Ink Machine is down to its cheapest ever price. It's 70% off. This was one of Glen's recent recommendations in another video that we did. And when I saw it on sale, I was like, okay, yeah, let's put that in there. I think it's like first-person horror game. I don't know if it's like survival horror. I'm not entirely sure. This is obviously a game that he loves. But yeah, first-person action puzzle horror game. It uses the cartoon look of the 1940s and 50s. And by all accounts, he really enjoyed it. He was hoping for a sequel, actually, and I don't think we've heard or seen anything from it. It's probably because, let's be honest, a lot of people just didn't pick it up. But a really nice one. 70% off, the cheapest that's ever been. That sale goes on until November the 6th. Rainworld is my controversial pick of the week in terms of, I say controversial because it's one of those games that I can play sometimes, so I spend a few hours playing it and leave just annoyed. And then at other times you make some real progress in this world and it's just brilliant. It's also beautiful. So essentially the premise is it's like an explorative Metroidvania and you're just a creature, one among many, and the inhabitants of the world actually live out their lives. So you might come across a horrible lizard thing that will just eat you if you get too close, or it will like track you down. But every now and then the rain comes and just floods and kills everything if you're not in safety. It will take you a while to get into, but once you do, I think this is one of my favorites. I can't even put my finger on what you would class it as, whether it's a Metroidvania and kind of its progress limited based on your own skill or what, but it's just something a bit special. There was a DLC for this. I don't know if it was released into this version though. I'm having like a backwards and forwards discussion out loud, and I do feel like it was. It may be paid though, maybe a paid DLC. Let us know in the comments if you've got that. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Wow, that must be like the plumber version. The Old Republic is a classic series. You can actually get both of those games at the moment in a bundle, so that may actually be the way to go, because I will stick the bundle in here as well, just for those people that are interested in that. But these are BioWare classics. Design your own Jedi or Sith, carry out loads of missions for people, do things the way that you want to. You know, if someone winds you up, you can just you just finish them, as it were. Yeah, there's no nice way of putting it. But I just still think they're great. I love them. They're such good games. The annoying thing with these is that they were going to release some of the DLC that was created by the modding community, I believe, for the second game. And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to release it. And they didn't. Isn't it annoying when people don't do what they say they're going to do? Like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in life. Like, if you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you can't do it, come out as early as you can and just say, hey, look, do you know what? I've messed up here. I can't do it. I don't understand what the problem is with people where they just don't do something and they don't tell you. And you're like, wow, that's just weird. I mean, I guess it's just the way that different people are raised, but I was always taught that you kind of do what you say, let your yes be yes and your no be no, and all that. So with that rant out of the way, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on its own is 50% off, and that goes on until October the 15th. Adventure Pals is our kids' pick this week. I love this game, and as basically what I'm doing is I'm this sounds terrible. I was going to say growing my own multiplayer team. No, I'm not growing my kids, am I? I'm raising my own multiplayer team. So we've got like, the youngest is like 3, so not quite there yet. But the other 2, man, they're good co-op partners now. And Adventure Pals has 2-player co-op and is just brilliant. It's 65% off. It has this vibrant world, kind of platformy sections, but with an open world. It has like that DNA of Cat Quest in it, actually, in some ways. But very good. It's been one of my favorites since the Switch came out. This one's been out for a long time now. And that sale goes on until October the 21st. My hidden gem this week is a little game I picked up for its lowest price called Mutation. I was really drawn in by the almost adventure game style visual combined with this weird hand-drawn, actually I don't want to say weird, it looks lovely, this lovely hand-drawn, like hand-illustrated style. And it has the mixture of that kind of slice of life simulator with an adventure game. You play as 15-year-old Kai, and she essentially finds herself in this weird secretive community, and she's there to look after her grandfather who's unfortunately not very well. And it has that certain flow to it, you know, it has a good flow where you've got the adventure side to keep it interesting, but you've also got the slice of life stuff like barbecues and band nights and boat trips. Yeah, for me actually, this is what I really like about games these days. It's not so much your fast-paced shooters and stuff like that anymore. It is these little slice of life. These almost like they create a moment, don't they? And you remember the moments of those specific games. I'm sure you could all think of games where you're like, there's a moment in it you just remember. Like sitting on the slide in Final Fantasy VII, looking up at the sky. Man, that was a moment right there. Yeah, let me know your moments in the comments. Oh, I might choose one of those as the winner this week. But Mutation, I can't say it at all, 43% off, down to £9.54. An indie to support, I would say. The hidden gem this week. That sale goes on until October the 20th. GRIME has a US sale. Now, GRIME is an interesting one. It's basically a Souls-like that has a really interesting style and some strange mechanics. It almost has like a counter-attack mechanic where people attack you, you perform your move, and then you're able to do damage to them. The thing with the Switch version is GRIME was the right name for it. It looked terrible. There have actually been a couple of patches, at least 3 now. I've been keeping my eye. I've covered one of them on our All Patched Up series. If you don't know what that is, it's where I go back and basically review patches for games to see if they're now worth you buying. If you haven't seen that, it's one of our most popular series. I'll pop a link in the description. But GRIME has been getting patch after patch. And actually, I think it's in a usable state, as it were. And it's a very good game. What I love about it is you can customize your character to suit your own play style, and you can re-spec those points whenever you want. This one's down 13% to £19.56, or your regional equivalent. And that sale goes on until October 20th. Lunark was a fun time. That's down half price, matching its cheapest ever, and it is a modern take on 2D classics such as Flashback. I mean, you only have to take one look at these visuals, don't you? And you can see that straight off the bat. And I'm absolutely fine with that. Honestly, I just love this style. It includes some great bosses in there as well. The kind of neon art style I'm not entirely sold on, but I do think it works. And it has a sci-fi story, anything science fiction, I'm there for it. What was that recent game we reviewed on the channel? It was amazing. Had that like near future, it was Beyond Galaxyland, that's the name of it. Absolutely excellent game. You should definitely go have a look at that one. But Lunark, very good, and for this price, 50% off, well worth it. That sale goes on until October 17th. Trinity Fusion. This didn't come out long ago, actually. It's like a fast-paced action platformer. Really nice mechanics. Very slick, isn't it? Stylish looking game. It's down to its cheapest ever price, £10.79. What, like 3 months after it came out? That's more a testament, I think, to just how bad the eShop is. Because this is a good game, and the eShop's just absolute rubbish, isn't it? It's just absolute trash. Let's just have a rant about the eShop. It's so bad. Like, how can it be so bad? Nintendo is so good at so many things, but anything online... Do you know what? It's not even fair to say they're not good at online, because you look at things like the F-Zero online, and you've got like, what is it, 100 players, 99 players, no lag, absolutely flawless. But you can do that, but you can't make a lineup of flat blooming images load in time. What's happening? Come on, Bowser, sort your life out. Go get some Koopas to code for you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I'm just having a little chuckle. Anyway, Trinity Fusion is 40% off. That's the cheapest it's ever been, and that sale goes on until October the 31st. Now, the bundle of the week, I've already mentioned it. It's the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic bundle, which is 55% off, and that has Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. But there is also another bundle. It's the Star Wars Heritage Pack, which finally has a sale in both regions. This is an insane bundle. It's half price, down to about 30 quid, which might sound like a lot, but it's got Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, Episode 1 Racer, Republic Commando, The Force Unleashed, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. My goodness. There's a lot of gameplay there of lots of different types of games, but they're all just classics. So yeah, consider the Heritage Pack. Well worth it. That sale goes on until October the 15th. Our Savaloys, our Fed Cooks, our cheap and cheerful ones this week, we've got Kingdom New Lands, a brilliant game, 90% off. You're building up your kingdom, defending it on each side. You can actually play co-op. This is a great one. We were playing this the other day on the projector, and it was just a glorious time seeing that quality pixel art stretched over the big screen. Inner Space, man, that's been out for years now. It's 95% off. It's an experiential, almost like a walking sim in space. Quite a cool game though. I did enjoy it. And then yesterday, Origins is a point-and-click adventure without the pointing, I think, on some of it. It's been so long since I played it, but it's 80% off at the moment until October the 29th. So that is it. What I do want to say is Glen and I have been both working on little hobby channels just for fun. You probably have or haven't seen them. My little hobby channel, if you like your tech, you like handheld devices and things like that, it's called Markitech, Markitech. I'm on 720 odd subscribers. I make hardly any videos, but the ones I do make, I try and make them high quality. So if you want to go check that out, that would be delightful. Come and say hello. Get me up to 1,000 subscribers. That would be sweet. I'm actually working on 2 videos at the moment for 2 new handheld devices. So yeah, happy days. Thank you to our Patreons, our members, all of you that enjoy the content. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya! Wow.